In this devotional, I'm going to share with you three thoughts from 2 Kings chapter 15, verses 32 through 38, where I'll ask the question, what legacy will I leave? Second Kings 15, 32 through 38 says, In the second year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, king of Israel, Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, began to reign. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned for 16 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok, and he did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, according to all that his father Uzziah had done. Nevertheless, the high places were not removed. The people still sacrificed and made offerings on the high places. He built the upper gate of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? In those days, the Lord began to send Rezin, the king of Samaria, and Pekah, the son of Remaliah, against Judah. Jotham slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, his father, and Ahaz, his son, reigned in his place. Some people like to think a lot about their legacy, about what they're leaving behind. And maybe it's when you begin to get a little bit older and you start to see that there's an end on the horizon, that you start to consider this a little bit more. I know that I have considered it more as I've gotten older, and when I was younger, I didn't really think about it all that much. But we might want to ask ourselves the question, what legacy will I leave? What kind of things are people going to remember about me? Because that's reflective of the type of life that we lived. Well, with that idea in mind, here are three thoughts from 2 Kings chapter 15, verses 32 through 38, answering the question, what legacy will I leave? Thought number one, the good. King Jotham was considered a good king. He is a good king. He followed in his father's footsteps. He did what was right before the Lord, and he encouraged the people of Judah to do that which was right, to follow God and to serve him properly. A part of your legacy are the good things that you have done. And wouldn't it be great if all of us had a legacy of good things that we had accomplished in this life, of positive things, places where we were faithful, places where we were diligent to serve the Lord? Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be wonderful if that was the legacy we left behind? Well, you actually have a say-so in this, because you can go ahead and do things that are good and sort of establish that sort of legacy for yourself. Thought number two, the bad. So Jotham, he has the good. He follows in his father's footsteps and is faithful to the Lord, but he also has the bad, meaning that there was good that he could have done that he neglected to do. The people of the nation were still sacrificing on the high places, meaning that they were still practicing paganism. They were still practicing idolatry. They were not being faithful to worship the Lord in the ways that he had said, and they weren't sufficiently devoted to him. So this goes as a part of his legacy, that while he did do good, and he is considered one of the good kings, he didn't do everything that he could have done to put himself on an even higher level, or to have a legacy that was superior to the one that he has. So he has the good that he has done that we can look back and remember and see, but he also has the bad that he had done. The place where he neglected to do what was right, where he refrained from doing something that probably would have been very difficult for him to accomplish, something very difficult for him to do. He didn't do it. And if he had done it, well, then we would be thinking about him a little bit better, wouldn't we? We should consider how the evil things that we do, or the good that we neglect to do, will reflect poorly on us in the future. Thought number three, the situational. It isn't just that we have control over these things. In fact, it would be foolish for us to think that our legacy is only built upon the things that we do, but there's also the situation in which we live and how we respond to it that affects our legacy. So Jotham comes into the king, and there are people worshiping on the high places. So this is the situation that he's in, and he has the option, do I put a stop to that, or do I allow it to continue? He also has something to say about his own behavior as he's the king. Will I do that which is right and encourage people to worship the Lord faithfully, or will I neglect it and lead them into idolatry? So the situation that you find yourself in your life also has an effect on the legacy that you will leave behind. Most of us will be remembered by one or two generations, and that's it. We just won't be remembered any further than that. But if we are put in one of those exceptional situations, then we might be remembered for 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 years. You never know. So pay attention to the situations that you're in. Because if you're in a significant situation in the world, your legacy might just be longer lasting than you would have thought. These three thoughts come from a signed reading in 2 Kings. If you'd like to read through the Bible with me, you can do so by subscribing to this channel, by clicking on the link in the description, or by joining the Facebook group Through the Bible, where we are reading the text of Scripture together.